A plane full of new rand notes remains grounded in Zimbabwe this evening. The plane was en route to deliver money to the South African Reserve Bank. It was grounded after a body was discovered in the cargo section. South Africa's ambassador to Zimbabwe, Vusi Mavimbela, confirmed that the body of a yet-to-be-identified black male was found yesterday morning. The US-owned chartered plane made an unscheduled landing in Harare en route from Germany to Durban following a technical problem. Zimbabwe ground staff noticed blood near the cargo hold. The crew and two South African Reserve Bank officials are still in Zimbabwe helping police with investigations. They boarded the plane in Munich with the consignment of newly printed rand. Well, to discuss, we're now joined by our correspondent in Zimbabwe, Shingai Nyoka. She is in Harare. Shingai, this is a mysterious tale. Just tell us exactly what we know.
Good evening to you, Francis. Well, what we understand is that investigations are still continuing, but what the South African ambassador has said is that they were called on site yesterday after being alerted by the South African Reserve Bank that there was a consignment that was grounded and impounded in Zimbabwe, that they wanted the South African embassy to facilitate securing the release of it. What we understand is that this is a private plane that had previously come in Entebbe, Uganda, on a separate mission, not related at all to the South African Reserve Bank, and that it landed in Munich, and that the South African Reserve Bank officials, who were two of them, as well as a new crew, boarded the flight. But what we understand is that the pilot had already seen that there was blood coming out of a side compartment, not actually in the cargo section, but thought that it was a bird. It's only when they arrived in Zimbabwe that they noticed that there was more blood, and after further investigations, a body of a man emerged or was retrieved from there. So really at this stage, they're trying to understand where he might have boarded the flight, whether it was from Entebbe, whether it was from Munich, and who was involved in it, because this is a Boeing 777, which is quite high up, and so he just needed assistance to get into that particular compartment, which is not in the main body of the plane or in the cargo section.
Is it still believed this man was a stowaway? And we heard that the plane stopped in Harare because of technical problems. Was that in fact because of the suspicion that you're talking about, that there was somebody in that area?
From what we understand, it was just a minor technical glitch and a precautionary measure when the pilot made the decision to land in Harare. Apparently, they lost signal en route to Durban, and so even though they did have fuel, they decided to make the emergency landing or the unscheduled landing in Zimbabwe. And at that point, they decided to refuel as well, just as a precautionary measure, and that's when the blood was seen on the plane. These are the details that we're getting from the ambassador, as relayed to him by the pilot as well as the crew. So really at this stage, there's no indication that they were aware that there was a stowaway or alleged a potential stowaway aboard the plane.
Shingai, do we know, is this the usual mode of transporting new crisp rand? These notes seemingly coming from Germany, transported in a private plane?
We understand that this is not the first time that this has happened, that South Africa has on occasion, despite printing its own money in South Africa, has occasionally ordered money to be printed from Munich, and that this particular airline has on those occasions assisted in facilitating the transportation of this money to South Africa. So really there doesn't appear to be anything unusual in this particular consignment or this particular transportation from Munich to South Africa by this private plane, which, by the way, is a US-based freight plane called the Western Global Airlines.
All right, thank you very much, Shingai Nyoka, and she will follow that investigation in Zimbabwe, that plane not yet released.